Try that again. Hi everybody, and welcome back to Through Old Bards and a Maiden channel. I am going to do a cover song tonight, but the video is going to be a little different than I usually do. Mainly because I'm trying really hard to try and figure out what it is people want to see. And so I've been evaluating a lot of that by what am I watching. So yeah, I guess my audience is going to be the same kind of people that are watching whatever I'm watching. So I do watch pretty consistently several people who just do talking heads videos. So and I actually get some conversations with them, in their comment section. But those are real brief conversations. They're only a sentence or two long. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do some shout outs to some of the musicians that I watch, and also some of the other channels that I watch, at least a couple, where there's talking heads and they're talking about. So the first one I want to talk about is Phil. Phil from What's Up, Boomer? Phil is was born in the same year as me, so I'm assuming we're the same age, give or take a half a year. And he's talked about retirement and all of that kind of stuff. And a couple things that keep coming up on his channel that I want to talk to him about is what it's like to be retired and absolutely flat broke, even having done the things that everybody says you should do, save for your retirement and all that, and you blew all that money on something. Well, that's not always the way. He has said that, but I kind of would like to at least briefly talk about my retirement briefly. Okay, so I was a nurse for 35 years, and before my retirement, I had, paid off all my student loans, and so I didn't have a big chunk of change, because rather than put that in a 401k or any of that kind of stuff, I paid off student loans. And I was still working around 2015, when my mother, who was from the golden generation, or the greatest generation, people born in the Depression era and that grew up and were younger people during World War II, and that was a time that, okay, so from that point of view, a lot of our policies in the country have, got formed. People that I deal with today that are, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I guess they call themselves, and even Gen X, they kind of blame it on the boomers and the Gen X's. Well, part of the reason that the society is the way it is because the boomers have been in charge. Well, you gotta understand that the boomers were in charge, and a lot of the attitudes in our society at that time, when they were born and they were being raised, were from the people of World War II era and Korea. And those people were badass mother frickers. swearing. And so a lot of times the early boomers were raised with that. Yes, we are the biggest, baddest guy on the block. And so, and then as they grew up, that was a predominant sort of thing. So we were taught certain ways of being in the world, and taught about finances and all that kind of stuff. And personally, about retirement, you know, I was taught, well, you have to pay off all your bills, and you have to make sure that you know, you don't have any debt, and then save everything you can. And Social Security is just a stopgap. It's supposed to be a you know, a safety net. You know, and unfortunately, sometimes, you know, almost 70% of people who are retired are living below the poverty level, even with whatever they've done with their, you know, savings and their, you know, so that safety net that is in the world today, you know, with Social Security and Medicare and all of that kind of stuff, really is a safety net for a lot of them. And a lot of people, that's all they have. And it's not always because they bought a Maserati or pretended to buy a Maserati, like Phil jokes about. He doesn't own a Maserati. My own personal thing was in 2015, my mother got sick of pancreatic cancer, and I needed to withdraw all the money that I had saved to be able to take care of her. And I did 24-hour care for her the last 2 years of her life. And, you know, because she was from the World War II generation, that, you know, the government would take care of you, because they were during the world, after that World War II generation. The government actually was taking care of people. It kind of left me broke. So my safety net is Social Security. And so that's enough of the sad tale of woe. I also wanted to, you know, talk a little bit. This was a practice, and this was a practice session that I was going to play with one of my cigar box guitars, which I use to write songs with. And you know, then I have another song that I'll sing. And then I have other things to say. So I'm sorry if I rambled on, but at least that answers that. So this is a cigar box guitar. This is the cigar box's name. It's called Sandal Fawn. And if any of you are interested in, you know, angel mythology or anything, Sandal Fawn was the only angel that was, well, one of two angels that were actually took human form and lived lives as a human being. The other one was Metatron. And Sandal Fawn is, he's associated with turquoise blue, and he's also the archangel that's in charge of music and sending prayers through to the universe, to the God, or, you know, who's ever in charge of the angels, from human beings here below, to via music. part of the mythology of that is, or the angelology of Sandalphon, is that he receives our prayers and our thoughts and actually translates them into music, I think, and sings them to the Creator. So that's some of the, this is tuned a little differently. You can, so all of you with perfect pitch, you can probably tell what those notes are. But I think it's G, A, D, and then another G, I think. Okay, now I played all of that because I have many of the people I've talked to. They ask you, you know, we ask questions of one another. What's my songwriting process? Well, that's mine. So that's a melody. That's you know, the cigar box guitar is helping me to bring out. And because I've already got some lyrics for it, but it's not a fully developed song. Yeah, so I guess I wanted to talk to, I have to turn off the amp now. I have to change a little bit because I am going to play a song. And I also have no idea what I'm going to title this video. But all of this stuff that I'm doing right now, this is kind of a demonstration of a couple of people that I pay attention to on YouTube. One of them is Gavin Davies Music, and another one is Fabian Holland. And both of them have put on videos about, you know, talking about live music and you know, live sounds, and you know, you want to present something that's absolutely perfect, and why we should leave the mistakes in our music and our recordings. Especially Fabian Holland, in his video, Why We Should Leave the Mistakes in Our Recordings, made a really good point at 11 minutes and 56 seconds on his video, that live music, when you're playing live music, especially kind of when you're playing live music like I do, and like all of the people that I put up on my channel do, it's, you know, it's open mic most of the time. although the guitars are amplified, they have a little system there. They're just playing acoustic guitar, and we make mistakes on those guitars. And the audience usually doesn't notice them. And, but you know what? That's kind of, in a way, that's kind of what makes the music real. Now, yeah, you can go into a studio and record something 1,000 times and, you know, cut it up and do the, you know, just the perfect recording, you know, by cutting it up and setting it in there. But Fabian Holland makes a few good points about, you know what, play it as a, you know, a one-time run through, because it's more genuine. And there, you know, with AI now, there's so many things that they can reproduce on music. There's a channel out there that I also just love. It is, what's it called? It's called the Cheeky Celtic, or the Cheeky Celt, I don't know. And they do AI versions of old kind of Irish folk music and Scottish folk music, and they even do some AI voices. As a matter of fact, one of their voices on there, I kept thinking, is that Melinda Reese, who is another artist that I've watched. I haven't seen anything from her, but she lives in Ireland now. I think she lives in Ireland now, and she's sort of semi-retired. She's been at it for a while. She's got a beautiful voice, and on the channel, the Cheeky Celt, there's a couple of songs that they have an AI generated, you know, woman singing, and it sounds incredibly like, but not quite, you know, like Melinda Reese. So I guess that's also the value of live music. One of the other things about this channel is, you know, I present live music and talk a little bit about my life and the lives of the other people that are at live music performances, at open mic performances, and there's a lot of them that are springing up. Music is a form of communication, you know, as I kind of said when I was talking about with Sandalphon there on my knee. It's a way of showing people who you are. And, you know, you always want to show people the very best of who you are. But you know, it's also a call to find out who they are. That's kind of what a bard is all about. You know, people have asked me about that too. Who are the three bards and the Maiden? And well, you know, all of the people that perform, they're all bards. They're all trying to get a message across. So, some other artists that I would like to give a shout out to. There's a new young man out. His name is Jesse Wells. And Jesse Wells is, I guess I'd call him a folk singer, indie folk maybe. And he does a lot of his videos that he puts up just like I do with a phone. And he usually is in a background behind his home, I guess, and he's just out playing out in the grass field, and then he's doing some very, very interesting current event music. So another artist that does videos also on her phone, although she's becoming more sophisticated now, is Rose Betts. Rose Betts is out of England, and she's English and Irish. She does a song that she's put on Instagram and TikTok that's that I've actually done a cover of in an open mic. No recording of it, but it's My Mother Says I Have Irish Eyes. And it's just a glorious song, and her music is really good. So there's some other people, there's a guy out who also does cover music, and he does open mic music. His name is Bruce Land, and Bruce Land, he does all kinds of songs, country songs and 70s songs. And Bruce Land, he also is doing a little bit of busking, and he films that and puts it on, and it's live music. So sometimes there's mistakes, but nobody notices. But I'm sure he does. When he's missed a chord or something like that, and other musicians might, but his audience don't. They just love it. So let's see. So music helps us to escape or recognize some of the things that are going on in the world. And the last cover song that I did was this one by Neal Young, and it's called Ohio. And it kind of is, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. So I think the lyrics of this and the songs, especially for those of us who are boomers or early Gen Xers, will recognize this song. So I'm gonna play a little of that, and then. Soldiers and citizens coming, we're finally on our own. Let's see if I can find the right note. See, that's live music. Tin soldiers and citizens coming, we're finally on our own. This summer I hear the drum. feel it's kind of also important that in that put down of a peaceful protest, they were protesting the Vietnam War. The media kept telling us, and the government kept telling us at that time, that, the war is winding down, the war is winding down. Well, just before that, in like February or March of 1969, we actually invaded Cambodia, and the rationale for that was that, well, we were going to, root out all of the North Vietnamese that were taking refuge in there. So on the campus of Camp State, at that time, there were peaceful protesters. They started out with a peaceful protest over several days, and it escalated to the point where the National Guard was called out by the governor, Republican governor of Ohio at that time. And as a result, there were 4 young people, ages 19 to 20, that were killed, and 9 wounded. One of the wounded people became paralyzed for life. So the 4 people that were killed at that time were Allison Krause, she was 19, Jeffrey Miller, he was 20, Sandra Lee Schauer, she was 20, and William Schroeder, he was 19. All of the soldiers that participated in that were acquitted. So that's a little history lesson that boomers and early Xers probably remember, and that kind of mirrors our times right now. So let's see. I also wanted to ask several of the other people that perhaps listen to me, and also again to Phil from What's Up Boomer. He asked me about cover songs and original music. I asked him if he wanted a song that he wanted me to play. He hasn't given me a reply yet, but this is another melody that I'm working on that I have lyrics about, and the lyrics need a lot of work. So this is kind of a love song about sitting with someone just before sunrise, waiting for the sun to come up over the desert in an area where I used to live. And that was around Joshua Tree and Yucca Valley, which is right next door to the 29 Palms Marine Corps Ground Training Center, which is where the current administration pulled the Marines to go into Los Angeles just recently. So, and it's a training center. So these are also 19 and 20-year-old, 21, younger people, younger than me. So anyway, I'm gonna try and play this, at least play this melody for you. So that's a piece of music that's floating around in my head. And it's about the yucca moth that helps to pollinate the Joshua trees in the area that look like bottle brushes and have this beautiful white flower that blooms at night. And sitting watching some of these with some friends, waiting for the sun to come up. All right. I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm going to have to edit this video down as it is. Anyway, there's one more artist that I wanted to give a shout out to. His name is Jebediah Bettis, and Jeb is a friend of mine, and he's been making music. He's in his, I guess he's in his mid-70s now, and he's been making music since the 70s. He was in a sort of a semi-touring cover band, and they did music between here and Colorado. And now he plays bass and piano, and he's writing some of his own music. So he has also his own channel. So please check him out. And I think I mentioned some of the people, at least, that I watch quite frequently on YouTube. And I hope you'll watch them too, because music is important. And it's a good thing to spread a little bit of joy. Okay, so I guess this is going to be an end screen also. So I want to say what I always say. I hope your life is filled with peace, love, light, and always harmony. And that's all. So, bye.